Welcome to our lecture on inchoate offenses, specifically focusing on the attempt to commit a criminal offense under Ghanaian law. Today, we will explore what it means to attempt a crime, the mental and physical elements required, and how the law punishes these acts.
In criminal law, an attempt is an effort to commit a crime that ultimately fails. This failure could happen because the intended victim isn't there, or perhaps someone intervened. Importantly, an attempt isn't a standalone crime. It must always be attached to a substantive offense, like attempted murder or attempted robbery.
You cannot simply be charged with a generic attempt. The prosecution must specify exactly what underlying crime you are trying to complete.
Let's look at some classic illustrations from the Criminal Offences Act. If someone buys poison, that is just preparation. But the moment they start mixing it into a drink, it becomes an attempt. Similarly, reaching into a pocket to steal is an attempt, even if the pocket turns out to be completely empty. Section 18 of Act 29 is crucial. It states that a person cannot be acquitted just because completing the crime was factually impossible, like the empty pocket example. If the intent and the action are there, the law treats the offender almost as if they had successfully completed the crime. To secure a conviction for an attempt, the prosecution must prove two concurrent elements, the mens rea, or guilty mind, and the actus reus, the prohibited act. This stems from the foundational legal maxim that an act alone doesn't make someone guilty, unless their mind is also guilty. The mental element, or mens rea, for an attempt is generally the exact same as the substantive offense. As seen in the Ghanaian case of Dua versus the state, attempted murder requires a specific intent to kill. You must intend to commit the full offense, covering all its elements. This was reinforced in the English case of R versus Pace and Rogers, which clarified that merely suspecting a circumstance, even if sufficient for the main crime, might not be enough for an attempt. You need clear intent for every element. Determining the physical act, or actus reus, can be tricky. We generally divide the commission of a crime into four phases: intention, preparation, attempt, and accomplishment. To be guilty of an attempt, the accused must move beyond mere preparation. The critical legal line is crossed right here. Buying a weapon is preparation, but pointing it at someone crosses into the attempt phase, as the actions are now more than merely preparatory. While the more than preparatory test is prominent, courts have historically used other tests. The last act test requires the offender to have done everything necessary, like pulling a trigger. The proximity test looks at how close they got, and the unequivocality test asks if the actions clearly speak for themselves. Generally, an attempt is punished as if the crime was completed. However, the law carves out specific attempts as substantive offenses of their own. For example, attempted murder is a first-degree felony, carrying life imprisonment, while attempted suicide or disturbing an election are classified as misdemeanors. To wrap up, an attempt involves a failed effort to commit a crime, requiring both the specific intent for the full offense and physical acts that go beyond mere preparation. Remember, under Ghanaian law, the factual impossibility of completing the crime will not save an accused from liability.